Hi everyone, welcome to Panthera's Paranormal Odyssey. This channel is for people who love all things paranormal. I will talk about topics such as hauntings, urban legends, cryptids, stories, and a whole lot more. There will be my own personal experiences along with viewer features. If you have a topic you'd like to recommend, please email me. My address is below, and I'd love to hear from you. So let's start today's Odyssey. Doctors are supposed to give their patients support when they are at their most weakness state. Dr. Harold Shippman used his position to take advantage of his patients, and in a cruel, ironic twist, became one of the most prolific serial killers in English history. Exploiting their trust, Shippman would diagnose his patients with illnesses they didn't have, then injecting them with a lethal dose of diamorphine. Unbeknownst to perhaps 250 people, their visit to the office of Harold Shippman would be their last. Harold Shippman was born in Nottingham, England on January 14, 1946. Harold Shippman's mother, Vera Shippman, favored him over siblings. This led Harold Shippman to be very self-centered, entitled, and as a result, nearly friendless in high school. On Christmas Eve, 1961, Harold Shippman's mother was diagnosed with terminal lung cancer. Requiring treatment, Vera Shippman was giving morphine for her pain. Fascinated by the effects of the drug, he started thinking about medical school. Vera Shippman sadly died from cancer on June 21, 1963. Harold Shippman was later accepted to Leeds University Medical School, where he met 17-year-old Primrose Oxby, instantly falling for her. They were married and expecting their first child within 5 months. He graduated in 1970 and commenced his life as a junior doctor, but he quickly moved up the ranks and became a general practitioner at a medical center in West Yorkshire. In 1974, Shippman started practice at Toadman in Yorkshire, where he was a family practitioner. He soon became addicted to a painkiller called pethidine and was kicked out of the program. He sought treatment at a rehabilitation program. He seemed to get back on his feet quickly and returned to work at Donnybrook Medical Center in Hyde in 1977. He would spend the next 15 years of his career here before setting up a one-man practice in 1993. He developed a reputation among his patients and in the community as a good and helpful physician. He was renowned for his bedside manner. Though Shippman was fired that year for forging 8 prescriptions, he was not removed from the General Medical Council, the doctor's regulatory body. Instead, he received a warning letter. On March 4th, 1995, 81-year-old Marie West was having tea with a friend when Dr. Shippman knocked on the door for a quick checkup visit. Sometime that day, Marie West was found dead in her home. Some say it was old age, but what people didn't know, it was much darker than that. He was a man of evil. He would administer a lethal dose of diamorphine and either watch his patients die right there or send them home to perish. At this time, Shippman had got his hands on enough diamorphine to kill hundreds of people, though no one was even aware until the next year. According to investigators, Shippman would stop and restart his killing spree many times throughout his decades of terror. But his method of killing always remained the same. He would target the vulnerable, with his oldest victim being 93-year-old Ann Cooper and his youngest 41-year-old Peter Lewis. He was convicted of killing 216 of his patients. 3 of Shippman's victims would eventually lead to his downfall. The first, Lizzie Culp, was a retired sewing manager who was found dead at her home on February 28, 1997. Dr. Shippman declared that she had died of pneumonia and claimed he had made a call for an ambulance. Police later found out no such call was made. The next major victim was Bianca Pomfret. She was found dead in her home by her son the same day Dr. Shippman made a visit to her on December 10, 1997. High morphine levels were found in her body. Shippman claimed that Pomfret complained about chest pain that evening and even falsified her medical history to cover his tracks. Shippman's last known victim was Kathleen Grundy. The 81-year-old Grundy was found dead on her couch on June 24, 1998. Dr. Shippman was to take her blood that day. The police later found that she overdosed on heroin. Dr. Shippman selected the cremation box on her will to hide the evidence. Then he used his typewriter to write her family out of the will entirely, leaving everything to him. However, Grundy was buried, and her daughter, Angela Woodruff, was notified about the will by local solicitors. Immediately, she suspected foul play and went to the police. Woodruff said of the situation, "The whole thing was unbelievable. The thought of Mom signing the document, leaving everything to her doctor, was inconceivable. The concept of her signing a document which was so badly typed didn't make any sense." Grundy's body was subsequently exhumed in August of 1998, and diamorphine was found in her muscle tissues. Shippman was then arrested on September 7th of that year. Over the next 2 months, the bodies of another 11 victims were exhumed. A police expert also checked Shippman's surgery computer and discovered that he had made false entries to support the fake causes of death he gave on his victims' death certificates. Simultaneously, Shippman insisted that Grundy was addicted to a drug like morphine or heroin and pointed to his notes as evidence of this. However, police found that Shippman had written the notes on his computer after her death. Then police managed to verify 14 other cases where Shippman had been given lethal doses of diamorphine, falsely registered the patient's deaths, and tampered with their medical history to show that they were dying anyway. Harold Shippman always denied the murders and refused to cooperate with the police or criminal psychiatrist. When the police tried to question him or show him photos of the victims, he sat with his eyes shut, yawned, and then refused to look at any evidence. Police could only charge Shippman with 15 murders, but it has been estimated that his kill count is anywhere between 250 and 450 people. In 2000, Shippman was handed life in prison with a recommendation that he never be released. He was incarcerated in a Manchester prison, but ended up in Wakefield Prison in West Yorkshire, where he took his own life. On the day before his 58th birthday, on January 13th, 2004, Shippman was found hanging in his cell. He told his probation officer prior to this that he was thinking about committing suicide so his wife would be able to receive his pension and lump sum. Others offered the more charitable opinion that he injected the elderly with diamorphine as a misguided way of offering compassion. Still, others suggest that the doctor had a God complex and simply needed to prove that he could take life as well as save it. I hope everybody enjoyed today's Odyssey. If you did, please hit the like button and subscribe. It's free and it really helps out. Remember, if you have a topic that you would like to recommend, just email me. My email address is below, and I would love to hear from you all. And remember, if someone comes around you with a needle, make sure you know what's in it. Bye, y'all.